up, y'all? You've been liking my musical introductions. Thank you for the love. Happy Friday. So, last time I went live on my page, I had quite a few people that were asking if I would go into the story of how Fish and I met each other, how we kind of combined forces to bring somatic to the world. So I feel like I'll go into that today. Would love to hear what else you'd like me to drop in on. For those of you that are not have not been following somatic, I am hosting a free workshop this Wednesday. We're going to be diving into all of the different meta skills. Wednesday will be on the process of alignment. Now, alignment is not just your physical posture, your physical body, but it is, can you minimize the time between when you are out of alignment and out of integrity with yourself and out of congruence with yourself? Can you minimize that time between then and bring yourself back so you can stay connected with your higher purpose, your mission in this lifetime? Especially if you're working with other people, it's so important to be deeply rooted in yourself and deeply connected to yourself so you don't get lost in other people. You don't get lost in the distraction of all the things. You know, you have people fighting for your attention, your energy. You have predatory marketing that's trying to suck your life force energy, your attention, which is the greatest resource that you have. So if you want to check that out, you can always, you can message me. I can send you the link. You can check the link in my bio. You can look at Somatic. That'll be Wednesday. I think we already have over like 1,000 people signed up for it. So we'll see if everyone actually shows up, but it will at least have a couple hundred people on there that are powerful, incredible humans. And we'll be diving in. It's completely free. So go check that out. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you're tuning in from. The last live that I did on my page, I was explaining how, it's a healthy thing to kind of separate myself and my own personal processes versus, my being an educator for somatic. So this is kind of an outlet for me to just be real with you, 100%, and showcase more of myself, which is necessary. Indiana sounds great. Let me know if you like my little musical introduction, if you heard that. What's up, Amber? So, for those of you that know my journey, I've shared a lot about it, but I'll give you a little bit more background. What's up, Holly, Ariana, Austin, Texas in the house. Wasn't here for the music, but I'll do another little music flow at the end. Been working on some new little riffs with my acoustic guitar. What's up, Kylie? So, just to catch everyone up, originally outside of school, I was an only child. Parents were significant addicts, changed their life around, and I've shared a lot about that. But I witnessed my parents struggle with anxiety and depression from a young age, and it made me really want to understand what makes people the way they are. It's an interesting thing being a child and watching, your parents or watching even other people's families struggle with anxiety, depression, the modern day sicknesses of insomnia, fucking all the different things that we're dealing with nowadays. So I was fascinated, as a child, when your level of stoke is just so high. You're like, how could anybody be sad about anything? How can there be any issues? When we're young, we have this vibrant life force that's flowing through us until we start to get met with all of the societal and cultural impressions that get pressed upon us that dull our expression. My life journey has been a fight and a battle to peel back the layers of all the pressures and programming that have been forced upon you to find your own unique expression inside of you, that inner artist. And I wonder why I went into like trauma healing work, because that's not like, ideally you're not spending all your time in trauma healing, you're spending your time in creativity and art. You're spending your time in expression, you're spending your time in creativity. But to get into that, a lot of the times we have to like go through our trauma healing. We have to go through our own healing process. And that's the thing that holds us back from being able to share ourselves fully into the world, is all the little barnacles that have been attached to us, that have been put on you by, schooling and religion and parents and society. And it's like a process of shredding all that off so that your natural essence can come through. And that gives you your own internal artist, and your internal artist is your, it is the same as it has a lot to do with your preference. And preference is how you feel. Like, what are you feeling? And can you actually say that in front of everyone else without trying to people please, without trying to be the best student, without trying to appease to everyone else? How is it that you're feeling? What do you like? What's unique to you? Like, I work with so many people that, have spent 40 years of their life living a life that actually was the life that their parents wanted them to live, or the life that society or religion wanted them to live. And they wake up at 40 years old and they realize, wow, I went down a route that was completely not what I wanted to do. And now I'm in this process of discovering myself, which usually is first like releasing a lot of the shit that's kept us back, that's kept our authenticity back, and then moving into creativity and finding the routes that I love the most on expressing myself. Music has always been a big part of me. I think back, it wasn't the route that I went down, but it was like, I think back, and I'd love to hear from some of you guys, what was your childhood dream? What was like the thing that you wanted to be when you grew up? Like, a lot of people said, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a police officer. Like, I remember I was like, I want to be on stage, I want to be a musician. And so it's cool to see full circle. I'm coming back into that, and it's going to be a slow journey for me, because this is my main focus right here, which gives me purpose in the world on such a deep level. But yeah, I would love to hear, what did you want to be when you grew up? When you grow up, like, what was your dream? So outside of high school, I went into addiction psychology. I went in the traditional schooling route. I played basketball. I was very athletic, and basketball was my sport, basketball and baseball. And I ended up like dislocating my elbow. At that time, I was actually using a lot of cannabis, I think self-medicating as well. I was studying addiction psychology, hurt myself in basketball, trying to figure out what direction I wanted to go down. And as soon as they started pulling out the DSM-4 at the time, which for those of you that don't know what the DSM-4 is, that is a booklet, or basically a book of diagnoses that basically, if you have some sort of mental health issue, or like, we can diagnose you and we can give you the medication that is specific to that diagnosis. So I knew that that was completely wrong, because that's the thing that I had seen through my whole upbringing, was my parents and my friends and other people were being cycled through different medications every couple months. It's like, okay, now I'm going to try this new medication. Let's see if that works for me. And it would just be this cycle for years and years and years. So I was like, not down for that. swung the pendulum from the mind side of things into the physical side of things. Started going to school for kinesiology, physical therapy. And it was interesting because when you're learning about that, it's so mechanical. It looks at the body like so mechanically that we don't actually, nowhere in that was like, okay, how does emotions affect this? How does your mindset affect your physical posture? And so ended up dropping out of all of that. And during that time, I actually stopped using cannabis. And for those of you that are aware that when you have used cannabis for a while and then you stop, you have what's called REM reuptake. And what happens is you will have a lot of really powerful dreams. You will start to have like just massive dreams. A lot of times it can be nightmares. It can be like you're dreaming the whole time when you're asleep. And for me, I started to have like lucid dreams. And I didn't know what that phenomenon was, so I started researching it. And this was when I was about 21 years old. And I found a book called Journeys Out of the Body by Robert Monroe, who was the founder of binaural beats. If you guys know what binaural beats are, they're called, some people call them digital drugs, but they put you into an altered state of consciousness that can help for meditation. You can look up binaural beats. So I started studying a lot of like lucid dreaming and astral projection, and got into altered states of consciousness, and now understanding learning the energetics of the body, and what's your spiritual body and your ethereal body and your causal body, and your it took me down a rabbit hole that I was like, holy shit, okay, now I want to dive down this. I want to learn all about this. And my, from coming from a Western standpoint, my goal was to bridge the gap in between Western understanding and these energetic understandings and be able to put it into simple language for everyone else. And I'll talk about my journey with that here in a moment. But I ended up finding a school that taught neuromuscular therapy, body work. And I walked in and I saw that they had, Reiki, they had cranial sacral therapy, they had polarity therapy, they had a lot of somatic unwinding practices. And I'm like, okay, if I can learn an applied skill of how to work with someone physically, as soon as I got my hands on someone's body, all of the stuff that I was learning from the books, it all started to make sense. It all started to make sensation to me because I had my hands on someone's body, and I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm an experiential learner, and I think most people are. And unfortunately, the current education system is not set up in that way. So it started to make a lot of sense to me. And I fell in love. I thought I wanted to go down, the rabbit hole of studying all of the energetic body works, but I actually fell in love with postural rehabilitation, aligning the physical body, working specifically with the physical body. And most people think that, okay, if I'm doing energy work, I'm out here and I'm doing some sort of off the body Reiki stuff, but everything's energy, you guys. Everything's energy. There's been multiple times where I've been so, I've had someone working way up underneath my rib cage and my diaphragm, and I just will start crying, or I will just start having this bubble of anger that wants to come up and out of me. And so I started to witness that people were having emotional releases from very physical body work if they felt safe enough with me as a practitioner and myself when I was getting worked on. So through that process of studying a multitude of different modalities and, going down a route of, also I had a kind of a sidetrack of becoming, injury rehabilitation, but corrective exercise and that whole route. And then I had a mentor, his name's Gary Strauss. He teaches at Life Energy Institute in California. He taught this modality called polarity therapy that really changed the way that I look at everything. And it's the foundation of looking at the body as an electrical being. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a way that I can bring both the physical side of things, the energetic side of things, and look at it as electricity. You are a battery. You have a positive pole on the top of your head, you have a negative pole at the bottom of your sacrum, and you have a pulsation of cerebral spinal fluid that goes in between those two poles. And you have nerve bundles at all of those different 7 centers, which is your chakra system, right? Those are electricity centers, those are energy centers. And so starting to study that and be like, okay, well, I have this electromagnetic field around me, from an energy side, that's called your aura, right? Well, all of the different glands and organs and musculoskeletal function on all those different lines correspond to the chakra system and the energies of those system. And it's not new information. So I fell in love with it, and I became an instructor. I loved it so much that I started my teachers were like, wow, you're really good at this. And I became an instructor, and I was teaching anatomy, kinesiology, polarity therapy, cranial sacral therapy, a multitude of different modalities, and fell in love with teaching. Even more than working on people, I love teaching because I love being able to package up information in different ways that can be digested by different people. If you are trying to get your message out into the world, all of us are teachers through social media nowadays. If you are trying to get your unique message out into the world, it's so important that you can speak about it in different ways that package up the information for different digestive systems, because everybody digests information differently. And so if people are not resonating with your message, you have to find a new way to package up the information. You have to be able to speak about it in a new way that lands for them. And when I say lands for them, it means that it is digestible information for them. Because I went for 6-7 years of studying very esoteric and also very clinically dense material and teaching from that place. Well, I alienated myself. You alienate yourself when you're speaking from that, because most people don't know what the hell you're talking about. And so the process of alchemy is the process of, can you take this dense, complex information and simplify it into what is the purest essence? Terrence McKenna has a quote, and he had this quote a long time ago, before memes were a thing, but now memes they're huge, right? You see them all over Instagram. The memes are the purest form of an idea, can be the purest forms of an idea, because you're taking this complex idea and you're simplifying it down into a sentence. And can you get the point across in one sentence? For those of you that know me, I love etymology. I love defining words. One of the greatest practices for me building curriculum, if you are a teacher in any sort of way and you teach anything, I highly recommend going through the things that you're teaching and putting your own definition behind different words, really sitting with it, really sitting with these different concepts, and how do you define it, and then what are the sub definitions underneath it. That's been my creative process around creating curriculum, and it is the process of alchemy, of taking this thought and this idea and distilling it down to its purest essence. And can it be digested by everyone? Can it be digested by your mom, people in the Midwest? Can it be digested all over the world? And that's how you know you really know something. It's not easy. So thank you, Kylie, sorry. I need water. Hold on one second. I'm going to keep rolling. Are you still with me? Let me know if you're still with me. Okay, so continuing on the journey. God, I'm long-winded today. No, I was an instructor for a while, loving teaching body work. Started diving into different, I started exploring with different psychedelic substances. And to be honest with you guys, my parents were addicts. I was always very afraid of any sort of, I was very afraid of any sort of substances because I saw what it did to them. But, using cannabis when I was younger, I was like, okay, maybe there was a massive benefit to those. It did show me that there's a lot more to natural substances than what's forced upon us by society. So I started studying or exploring with different psychedelic medicines, and I was like, wow, okay, this has been really powerful for me in clinical, in more of a ceremonial and clinical setting. And so I started researching. I found an organization called MAPS. Most of you have heard this story before. Volunteered with MAPS, and then in 2017 I was at the psychedelic conference, and I had a man tell me I needed to go to this holotropic breathwork session with Stan Groff. I talked about that last time. I had this massive emotional release in this breathwork session, and when I went through that, I cleared so much, and I became so clear that wow, breathwork is a massive part of all of the work that I'm doing. And so beyond psychedelics, I reached such an altered state of consciousness through this, and it was so clear to me, and there was no other middleman or no other substance that allowed me to deeply connect to my body and clear out a lot of the armoring and the holding patterns that have kept me from being able to showcase all of myself, moving through that. And so I started studying lots of different types of breath work, and through that, adding breath work into all the other modalities, and sort of the Da Vinci effect of integrating all the different things together. And I had a woman who was a therapist ask me, can you teach me what you do with me? She was a client of mine. She was like, can you teach me how you are working with me, because this is really beneficial. And so I started the first somatic breathwork trainings with 5 people out of my house in my apartment. And this was only 3 years ago, you guys. It's only 3 years ago. It's not that long ago. It's grown tremendously. Don't ever think that your life can change within very quickly. I'm just gonna say hi to a couple new people that are just popping on. For those of you that are just hopping on, I'm kind of just giving you a oh shit. Oh, am I here? Something happened. Okay, so yeah, I started with I just had someone text me that said there's an emergency. Uh-oh. Sorry, you guys. That's always scary. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, all right. Center, I'm back. So I started holding trainings with 5 people out of my house. Never thought that this would grow to the extent that it did. And to be honest, a lot of it is the same curriculum that I teach right now. Besides, now I've really, really up-leveled it because we're now accredited by a university, can offer college-level credits to therapists and doctors. And guys, you can create anything. You can. This journey has been so wild. Now we are an accredited institution that offers continuing education credits to mental health therapists. It is just if you are doubting yourself whatsoever, you can do anything. You can create anything. Because the one thing that I realize is that no one has their shit together. Even the government, the school system, all the systems, they don't know what they're doing. They're doing the best that they can. And who created those systems? obviously if I'm teaching this, and this is I've packaged it up in a way that is showcasing a new groundbreaking information, not necessarily groundbreaking information, but packaging it up in a way that lands for people. It's like so I did 3 trainings out of my house with 5 people. They were very small. I might actually post a couple of the videos from those, just to show you guys how small and like how cool it has been to now over having 1,000 practitioners worldwide and being fully accredited. Yeah. So the first training outside of my house. Okay. So I'm like trying to formulate all this to bring in Fish, because Fish has been a big part of this. Fish was a client of mine, and he went through something pretty traumatic. He had someone really share some news with him that really broke his heart. And I'm not going to get into details because I don't want to share too much there. But he went through a nervous breakdown, and Fish was a very successful physiotherapist on the PGA Tour, working with professional level golfers, and built a 7-figure business, online course business in the golf world. Was doing very I mean, Fish graduated like summa cum laude from his college. He's a very smart individual. And he went through something that really shattered him. And someone told him, you need to go get sessions from this guy, Stephen Jaggers, and start working with him because he'll help you. And it's just crazy how the universe brings people together. I started working with him, and he started getting better. And when he showed up to my place, he was in rough condition. He was not doing so hot. So yeah. And through probably a series of 10 sessions, he was like, I want to dedicate my life to this, and I think we can create this into a really big thing. And I think the world actually needs this. Like, I needed this so badly that I think the world is actually needing this as well. And we just began the process and became best friends in that. And figured out, the first training outside of my house, I had a PhD level psychologist, I had 2 MDs, I had a naturopathic doctor, I had a really high level YouTuber come in. And talk about imposter syndrome. Like, for me, like, I had a lot of experience, and I knew that, like, what I was doing, I knew my shit because I had spent 10 years working with people and teaching. But having multiple people that had gone to school for their dissertations and PhDs and everything come in, especially in like psychology and the mental health realm, I was like, okay, these people are going to rip me to shreds. Like, there's who am I to be teaching these people anything? And I held this training with 8 people. It was the first one outside of my house, and I saw how much people got from it. I saw how much that I think she said she got more out of the 4 days than she had from a majority of her schooling. And to hear that, I'm like, wow. There was a moment in time where I was like, I don't think I'm the one to be doing this. I don't think I'm the one to be taking this into the world. And life had a different journey in store for me. So we began the process of trying to get it into online and just really building this thing. And I think for me, being an only child and being a lone wolf and being like someone who just operates very well alone, it was really scary for me to give. Like, I gave part of the business to Fish. Like, I'm like, let's do this together. Then we brought on Nadeem, we brought on Jeremy, we brought on Jordan, we brought on multiple people. And now I have a team of probably 11 to 12 people just in my immediate kind of team, and then we have a lot of people that are working on the outside. I mean, people have no idea how much work it actually takes to run a business at this level. You have no idea. You have no idea. I do sometimes miss the days when things were simple. I'm not gonna lie about that. But like, we have the most incredible team that have dedicated their life to this, and there's something greater that's moving us. So I don't know exactly what direction I want to go from this, but I would love to answer some questions, because last time y'all wanted to hear my story about things, so I just gave you a massive background story on the journey that I've been on. Let me see. Leneska said, I went to a nerve breakdown too, and thanks that I found somatic practitioner training. Thanks to those dark days, I find this path. I'm still healing. And this is the path I'm humbly taking. We love you, girl, and we appreciate you. What's up, Nadeem? He's on. Nathan, I appreciate the support, brother. So yeah, that's been the journey. Nadeem just joined us. Maybe, Nadeem, let me know if you want to pop on here. Are you at a place where you can... Let's see here. I don't know if he wants to. He's waving. How you and Fish meet and got to combine forces. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
What's up, brother?
Welcome, brother. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day to be alive, my friend.
Amen, man. Amen. I'm happy to be here.
I literally was just telling, last time I did a live, people wanted to know just kind of the journey of how the team came together, how, I met Fish, and how, us three kind of came together. But I would love if you're open to sharing, a little bit about you, maybe right before Somatic, and then the process of you kind of coming onto the team, and like what this journey has been like for you, if you're open to sharing.
Oh yeah, I'd love to, man. Well, just quick minute on about me. My background is in the cannabis space. I ran an edible company. Yeah. We had a massive team, 60 employees, 125 locations. It was awesome. But I got to a point to where it just became so highly political, and I just, the heart wasn't in it the same, and so that made me want to turn a different way. And breath work is something that saved my mom's life. In 2017, we'd gone to Costa Rica. We did this breath work experience, and she just suffered with addiction. I think it's called empty nest syndrome or empty nest. Just all the kids grew up, moved out. She relapsed and did this breath work. She had a very healing experience, and immediately I was like, where is breath work? Where can we learn about this? Fast forward a couple of years, I meet you. I think we were doing a mace flow at the park or something.
Hold on real quick. Colin. Yeah. So that's actually the day that I met Fish as well.
Like at the mace flow.
I met you because I was like, here's this brother who's doing mace flow, which is this functional workout, tool that is incredible. And I'm like, okay, let's just hold some like gatherings of like swinging maces and getting all the guys out there. And I remember Gabe brought Fish to the mace flow. That was the first time I met him. This was before he was a client of mine. But wow. You and I were holding the mace flow session. And so that brought us together. And it also was the thing in how I met Fish originally. But it wasn't the thing that brought us all closer. But shout out to the mace. We love the mace.
Shout out to the mace. Yeah, the Primal Tools, man. Primal Tools. They're unifying. I didn't know that. That's really cool. He was at that session.
It just came to me right now. He was at that session. I have a video of us all together. I'm actually going to send to you after.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that was really cool. And you and I, became close friends over mace flow, and just, a lot of commonalities. I think you had lived maybe in Sedona at the time. or you were moving back to Phoenix, and I was going up to Sedona a lot. You were showing me around. It was a great time, and I remember there was a day we were probably working out, and you were talking about a session you were holding for somebody, and she had asked you, "When are you going to teach this to others?" And I remember you shared that with me, and I'm like, "You should do a course on this." And you're like, "Well, I met this guy named Fisher, and apparently he has a background in like, creating online courses and stuff, and a bunch of other big body work background." And it was just wild, like the synchronicities that kept falling into place. You hit me up like a week later, and you're like, "I went all in. I did it. I bought the thing. I'm in. I put everything in it." And I was like, "Oh, he's doing it." And I remember you started holding sessions or trainings out of your place where you lived, and I was still with my current or former business. And as time progressed, I was like, I really feel called to help and move with somatic. I love the movement that you're making, that you're creating, and it reminded me of the passion and the heart that I had in the cannabis space.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're helping people like at scale, not like on a one-to-one level, at scale, and that's why I fell in love with the cannabis space to begin with, and that flame was fanned with somatic, and yeah, here we are today, man. Over 1,200 practitioners, like 20 different countries, maybe more, and growing and growing. Team of teachers, and it's incredible, man, to have watched you develop, each of our team members develop. Sit into their roles, and I feel so honored. I feel blessed. I really do.
I feel honored. We, for those of you that don't know, Nadim has been an essential part of this movement. He not only is the engine of the team, as you can tell when you tune into his energy, like he has the drive, life force. He is he's the engine of our team. And beyond that, he also is the organization and the structure and the systems. And Nadim is an absolute powerhouse. If you have not had the opportunity to give him a hug or connect with him, so if you're not following him, go check him out. He also is just a wizard in a multitude of different areas. This man is, I've called Fish a Renaissance man, but you are too, truly.
I love you, brother. There's a saying that keeps ringing in my mind, and you know me, dude. I'm a builder. I like to build. That's my language, right? But then it's like, how do we integrate that with what you bring, and that's the artistry, right? And so it's build like an entrepreneur, but create like an artist. And it's like, I got my piano here. I'm about to play a little bit.
There you go.
Before I tap into my work, so it's like,
yeah, bro. Play me something.
Not there yet.
Not there yet. It's okay.
I might play some Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's like you've brought that into you've helped me remember that to create like an artist, to create, right? And all of us have that artistry in us. And so that's the saying, that's the mantra I have right now. Build like an entrepreneur, but create like an artist, right? Building has structure. Creativity is like color outside the lines. You gotta mess around to find out.
Yeah, one of the things I was talking about was like I really wonder why. I mean, I know exactly why, just because of my upbringing and getting into the trauma and healing space, and helping people heal a lot of the deep wounds that they've gone through. And it's like, but why? But why do that? And that is for me, in my own healing journey, it's helped me connect more to the artist inside of me, because we talk about expression, right? And that's the thing that we like. If you study somatic psychology, you know that when people have an emotional expression, or when people have a physical expression, or tears, yelling, crying, shaking, movement, that's the signal to your nervous system that you're not in the presence of a stressor anymore, and you can go back to like relaxation. It's like when you're dancing, you're not going to dance like when you dance dance, you communicate and you tell every cell in your body that you're safe, because if you were not safe, you would not be dancing. And so that expression is the thing that allows you to feel safe in your nervous system to express yourself. And so why do we do this is to, like, at first it starts with, okay, let's express and break through a lot of the holding patterns, a lot of the self-worth stuff, a lot of our core pain, a lot of our core wounds that have happened from childhood, so that we can move into the expression of our soul and know how we feel and communicate that into the world. And hopefully that's bringing value to our community, our tribe. We want to feel like we're, living, we're bringing value to the world in a symbiotic way with nature and each other. And so I'm curious, like, if you're open to sharing, and I got to hop off here in like 10 minutes, but if you're open to sharing, maybe what are some of like the core wounds that you feel like you've moved through to unlock this like artist Nadim inside of you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, as you know, I've picked up dancing as of the last like 6 months.
This man is an amazing dancer.
A lot of two-step dancing, and one is absolutely the way that people see me, right? The way that people are seeing me, and that's an intrinsic wound, I suppose, of just like it ties into value. Like I want people to see my value, right? And that's like ties into my work, because most of the stuff I do is around work, right? And wanting to be valued, the desire to be valued, and stepping into like getting outside of my comfort zone of dancing, and this will tie together. Just dude, it like I feel better every time I do it. Like the immediately after and the following like morning, I'm like, I feel so good. And it's to what you're saying, it's like nobody needs to value me but myself.
Yeah.
I don't need to be valued by anybody, right? And I'm going to go express myself the way I want to express myself, right? And I'm going to lean into this thing that's uncomfortable. And it's no longer uncomfortable. Now I'm like, let's all go. I love going.
Yeah.
That's been a big one, you know?
It reminds me of like the Alan Watts quote, for you it's dancing, which dancing is huge for me too. I'm not as good as this guy. There are crazy squirrels going on. I don't know if you can hear that. I live in a squirrel. They're like they're playing. And, Alan Watts quote is like, the when you are dancing with your partner, the goal is not to get to a place in the space, right? When you're playing music, the goal is not to get to the end of the song. It's to be fully engulfed in the moment, in the felt sensations of what's going on. And I think specifically with building is like, when you're building something, the goal is to get to the end of it and to see the thing built. And but that is like the goal is the work itself. The goal is the journey of the building, and we forget that. We forget, even with building a business, and like we have massive goals for this, and those help the structure and drive of what we're doing. But I know you're like, your core wounding is to feel like valued, and to feel worthy enough, and to feel enough, and to feel like what I'm doing is valued in a way. And so you're like, I'll build all of it. I'll show everyone, right? And I think that dancing gives you an opportunity to be like, it doesn't actually matter what I create right now, because I'm just actually a flow, like life force energy flowing through me. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's cool to dance with another person as well. Obviously two-step requires that. Unlike like static dance, and it's true to what somatic is. Of course, it's of the body, but there's like, when I dance with a new partner, I always say there are three people dancing. There's me, there's you, and then there's us, right? And so it's like actually like finding your flow together, and like, your hands on the small of their back, your other hands, holding their hand. you like, where can you feel the tension? You know, so it's like you can feel that tension, you can feel them relax, you can feel like you find this groove, and everything just starts to symbiotically work really well together. And it's really exciting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That is actually a great lead into, for those of you that are just tuning in, we are going to be hosting a meta skills workshop
Yeah.
on Wednesday. You can message Somatic, you can message myself, you can, just message us. We'll give you the link. You can comment meta on anything on Somatic's page, and it's completely free. But what Nadim just talked about is the awareness of self, the awareness of the other person, and the awareness of the we space in between. And that is what we're going to be diving into when we get to attunement. Because to be able to attune, like when you're dancing with another person, this is somatic communication. This is the language beyond words. And can you read that language, and can you dance with that language? And it's not just through dancing, but it's through all relationships. And we have an opportunity to learn to speak that language. I mean, this is the foundation of all of our trainings, is learning the language beyond words. And how do I speak safety into another person's nervous system? By connecting with them on a deep level. And damn, dude, these guys are just playing. But yeah, we're gonna start that off Wednesday next week. It's gonna be a powerful journey. We'll be doing them each month. Would love to have you. Nadim, love you, bro. Thank you for hopping on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, anybody who wants that link, just comment meta on this, and we'll send it over to you. Yeah. Jaggers, have a beautiful day, brother.
You too. Have a beautiful day, bro. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'll let you pop off, Neens. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. If you missed out, you can comment meta. We're doing a workshop on Wednesday. It's completely free. I think we have almost 1,000 people signed up at this point. It's going to be powerful. I was trying to play this new riff I made last night. I don't really have it yet, but I'm getting it. something like that. I don't know. I'll keep working on it. Thank you so much. Hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Friday. I got a lot of curriculum stuff to work on, so I got to dive into that. Yeah, stay in touch. I hope you enjoyed the journey, and yeah, thank you so much for all the love and support. I'll see you soon. Layla. Thank you, Layla. Thank you, Amber.